This is what Olivia had dreamed of for her marriage. A beloved husband who loved her, and they lived amicably, even if not richly, but amicably. That was essential. And they would have children, ideally a son and a daughter, who would get along well with each other and not lose touch when they grew up. But everything turned out exactly that way for Olivia. They had been married for 2 years already, but they still hurried home, spent weekends together, walked holding hands, and even now bought 2 different ice creams, took them home to split each in half and eat, then argue a bit about which was tastier. They had tried many kinds, chosen the best, of course, but they wouldn't stop until they tried them all. "Olivia, you've been such a sweet tooth since childhood," Noah asked her once. She could only reply that. If Noah knew that in her childhood she was rarely treated to ice cream or spoiled at all. She lived with her grandmother and her uncle, her mother's brother. Olivia didn't have a father. Even her grandmother didn't know who he was. Then her mother got married and left with her husband far away. Grandmother said it took more than a week by train to get there, but they never went, and her mother never came. Once a year, on Olivia's birthday, she sent money and asked grandmother to congratulate her daughter. Her mother already had 2 sons from her new husband. They never came either. Uncle Oliver didn't mistreat Olivia until he got married. But with the appearance of his Emma in the apartment, grandmother and Olivia quickly started looking for a 5th corner. And Emma turned out to be a virtuoso. She subdued everyone and everything. Uncle Oliver soon got so fed up with it all, probably, that the complaints from Emma about everything being wrong and on the kitchen everything incorrect, and she had told her mother-in-law 100 times, but she continued her own way, that this lanky niece Olivia was wandering back and forth, not letting her rest, that he learned to pretend he saw and heard nothing. He was already convinced that arguing was pointless. At the slightest thing, she would scream and throw a fit audible to the whole building. After such screams, grandmother and Olivia were ashamed to appear before the neighbors, but Emma, not a bit. She even managed to quarrel with the neighbors. Everything was wrong for her. But the neighbors avoided Emma like the plague, while Olivia and grandmother couldn't avoid her. After another scandal, one-sided from Emma's side, grandmother would lie on the bed and close her eyes, but Olivia still saw tears rolling down grandmother's cheeks. Olivia wrote to her mother, told her what was happening, and her mother replied that she sympathized but couldn't come. Circumstances didn't allow. Olivia still thinks it was Emma who shortened grandmother's life. 2 heart attacks in a row, and she didn't survive the second. Not even a week passed after grandmother's funeral when Olivia left too. Uncle Oliver caught up with her at the bus stop, thrust an envelope with money into her hands and said, "Forgive me, niece, I got stuck. Forgive me." He turned and left. Olivia watched him go and pitied Uncle Oliver, really stuck. Olivia immediately rented a corner from one woman. She was just lucky, the first ad and lucky. She went to computer courses. While studying, she lived on tea and bread. But then she found a good job. After the interview, they hired her as a secretary in a large firm installing Euro windows. Then she could rent a separate small apartment, but immediately had to find someone to fix the non-closing balcony doors. She found it by ad. The ad was strange. Olivia saw such for the first time. Husband for an hour. And it turned out to be really a husband, or rather he became one a bit later. But Olivia doesn't want him for an hour. She wants him for life. Noah wasn't spoiled by fate either. Besides him, there were 4 more children in the family, and only the father worked. After finishing 9th grade, that was it. Mom got sick after the birth of the youngest sister, then got a disability group, but the pension was small. As a large family, they were entitled to help, but it was also small. Their apartment had 3 rooms, but small ones. You couldn't turn around. So Noah, even before the registry office, told Olivia that they would build their own house. And almost right after they got married, they started building. They bought a plot in the suburbs. Noah was a builder. He built the house practically himself. Only the foundation was dug by a bulldozer, and often guys from his team helped. Olivia tried to cook lunch on weekends, brought products herself from the city, fed her husband and his helpers. They praised her, called her chef. Noah smiled and hugged Olivia. They lived then in economy. Every penny counted, but they knew what for. And to say they suffered from such economy, no, they didn't, because they were together, because they were with each other, just as Olivia had imagined family. The next year, they moved into the new house, and almost immediately, Olivia realized she was pregnant. She went to the women's clinic. They confirmed, put her on record. At home, over dinner, she told Noah. Oh, how he rejoiced. They rejoiced together. Olivia also rejoiced that the baby would be brought into a new home. Not in vain did they allocate a nursery. True, it's empty now without furniture, but nothing. They'll buy everything necessary for it. Both turned out to be superstitious. They didn't buy anything in advance, and there wasn't much money, but for such a thing they'd scrape together. They just decided to wait until the child is born, then do everything for him. Noah had already determined where the playground would be, and on it a slide and sandbox for sure, with a bench around, and planned where to install a gazebo so the child could sleep there in summer, protected by a mosquito net. In short, their child would have everything. Just let him be born. But already in the second month, Olivia started feeling unwell. At work, she didn't say she was pregnant. She hid it, that she felt unwell. Noah noticed himself that she wasn't well, took time off work, made Olivia take time off, and they went together to the clinic. Noah waited while they looked at the tests, did them. Then he talked to the doctor himself. The doctor said the pregnancy was difficult, but the fetus could be saved and prescribed a course of treatment. That's when Olivia saw how Noah could worry. Olivia calmed him, but worried herself. She already felt there was a child, but how not to lose him? Noah said he'd take extra work, but Olivia would get treatment. They both wanted the child to be born and both tried to help him. Noah asked Olivia several times to quit work, but Olivia didn't want to. First, things were going well at work. Good relations with colleagues, fair boss always accommodating, and salary in the end every month. Olivia kept planning to tell the boss she was pregnant, but since nothing was noticeable yet, she decided to say later. And the boss had already let her go to the hospital 3 times without asking what happened. On Sunday, Noah didn't go to extra work. He started insulating the roof. Before Olivia's pregnancy, they planned to insulate the roof next summer. But now, when both hoped the baby would be born, a warm house was needed for the child first. So Noah climbed onto the roof. How he slipped on the ladder, no one knows. Noah fell, and his head suffered the most. They took him unconscious to the hospital. Olivia went to accompany him. She stood, leaning against the wall, afraid to move away. Her legs were shaking, everything blurred before her eyes, and such anxiety for Noah. And not in vain. The doctor came out and said Noah's injury was very severe. Now he's in a coma. He said an operation was urgently needed and specialized medications, and gave her a list of drugs. When Olivia learned at the pharmacy how much the medications cost, she froze. She didn't have that kind of money. Then she forced herself to gather, started calling Noah's parents, guessing they didn't have the needed sum either. But half an hour later, Noah's father arrived, brought at least part of the money, and Olivia understood that was all he had. Then Olivia called Noah's partners. They also collected and brought money, but still not enough. And time was working against Noah. Olivia rushed in search of money, and there, in the hospital, was Noah, whom, as the doctor said, could be gone right now. What would she do without Noah? Why? And if the child is born, he'll never see his living father, and Noah won't see the baby. But why did this happen to them? Olivia decides there's one last option. Now, even though it's a day off, call her boss. She'll beg him to advance her salary, explain that then she'll work for life without pay, just now she needs money. She needs Noah. James, Olivia's boss, was tinkering in the garden. He lived in a cottage in a settlement near the city, lived alone. As he said himself, he missed the chance for a family because of work, creating the firm. But he built a house. There could be kids running around, but no. No kids, no wife, and with hired housekeepers, no luck, either sloppy or irresponsible, so he does it himself. And just this weekend, James decides he needs to start a family, not talk and dream, but look for a woman. And then his mobile rings. It's his secretary, Olivia, and she's begging James to help her. It's hard to understand because she cries all the time. "Where are you?" he asks. Learning she's at the regional hospital, he says to wait there, he'll come now. And here he listens to Olivia, then goes himself to talk to the doctors, understands it's very serious. Noah's life, and he knew him, is hanging by a thread. James approaches Olivia. She asks to advance her salary. "Okay, Olivia," James tells her, "I'll withdraw as much as needed now, but I have a condition. I need you to come to my house in the evenings and on Saturdays, say to help around the house." Olivia guessed what her boss meant, but she was ready for anything just to save Noah. Olivia enters James's house. Later, she'll appreciate what a house it is. "Let's start with tea," James tells her and points to the kitchen. "Okay, let's start with tea," thinks Olivia, and then a shiver pierces her. She already imagines what will happen next. But Olivia can endure anything because only this way can she save Noah, save him and disappear from his life. After all, how to look him in the eyes after this? He'll guess right away. How many times it happened that Olivia thinks about something and Noah already knows what and says or does what Olivia thought, and he admitted more than once that Olivia guesses his thoughts. Well, after what she'll have with James, Noah will guess right away and probably won't even want to be near her. But Olivia will leave their house and hide so no one never finds her. But, thinks Olivia, he won't look for such. Well, where Olivia will go, she'll figure it out for sure. Olivia hates him, this James. Yes, he gave money, he bought her, didn't force her to come to him, but takes advantage that Olivia needs to save Noah. And he, this her boss, knows that to save the one you love more than life, you can go to anything. But what does he know? He's rich, can buy everything, thinks Olivia. And aloud, she's afraid to say, just lowered her head so James doesn't see her eyes. But he guessed what Olivia thinks, thought a minute, explained to her or not, and decided to explain. "Olivia, I envy your Noah," he began. "Don't be surprised, I envy. There was never such a woman with me who'd be ready for anything for me, except my mom." And then he started telling that his life isn't worth envying. Only the last 15 years James is, as they say, on top. But before that, there were ups and downs. Grew up with mom. Father left them, couldn't stand the poverty and those hardships everyone had then. But another woman turned up, younger, and he went to her. Mom didn't cling to him. They started living together and for some time coped, at least not begging. Only mom worked a lot, and then he got sick. Needed a whole year in a bone tuberculosis sanatorium in one city on the Black Sea. Mom, not to leave him, locked their apartment and went with him, rented a corner there, got a job as a janitor in that sanatorium, and they saw each other every day. The sanatorium helped. They were preparing for discharge. Mom bought tickets home, hid the few remaining money in the suitcase, and that suitcase was stolen from them at the station. He remembered how mom rushed around the station, ran to the duty officer, then to the policeman, and the train was to leave in an hour. They had no money, no things, no tickets home. And then mom asked him not to go anywhere, sit and wait on this bench, and she went somewhere in the direction where probably some spare cars stood. When she came, she was all in tears, in a rumpled dress, without a scarf on her neck, but in her hands she had money. She begged the cashier to sell them tickets. They got a common car, many people, but a comfortable seat was found for him, and mom went to the vestibule and from time to time came to check if he was okay. He wanted to hug mom several times, kiss her, but she turned away and asked not to touch her for now, said her back hurt. When they got home, realized the keys were in the suitcase, asked a neighbor to break the lock. Then mom washed long in the bathroom. He wanted to too, but waited. Then mom often cried and couldn't find peace, and only before her death confessed how she earned the money then at the station, and that even today she can't wash off that filth. Mom kissed his hands and begged forgiveness. He then understood almost nothing, understood much later, and good that no one heard. He howled outright. How mom loved him that she went to that and lived with it for so many years. That's when I vowed never to take advantage of a woman's desperate situation. Women don't always easily and simply choose work they'll be ashamed of sooner or later. Some go to such work to save someone. My mom saved me, and you're ready to save your husband. Only I called you not for that. I respected you before, and now you remind me so much of my mom. No, Olivia, don't think bad of me. More tea? Well, okay, later. Now come with me. Olivia thought she was on a swing. Just now, James was one, and now another. Where is he calling her? Still to the bedroom? Damn it all. But he leads her not to the bedroom, but to a small room without windows, either a pantry or some utility. And there, mops and fancy floor cloths hung, various cleaning products in the cabinet, 2 vacuum cleaners. Olivia, if you have strength and need to switch, take what for cleaning and please put my office and living room in order. I do it haphazardly with the vacuum, but it doesn't turn out well. Well, I won't bother you. I'll go to the garden. And James left. And Olivia couldn't come to herself for a long time. Everything mixed in her head. The child, the story the boss told, and thoughts about why he called her, the decision to run from Noah. But in fact, everything's not like that, and this isn't a dream. She almost finished cleaning the living room when James entered. "Well, you're great, Olivia. Even breathing is easier," he said. "Maybe you'd agree, Olivia, to cook dinners for me too, but not every day, at least on weekends. On weekdays, I eat in restaurants, but on weekends, don't want to leave home, and ordering pizza or sushi is tiring. Think, Olivia, not now, not tomorrow, but when your husband gets better. I'd give my driver for you so you don't come yourself. Will you think?" Olivia tells him about something else, cries and says, "Don't think bad of your mom, don't judge. She went to that for you, and I understand her, as I understand other women, even those who'd probably go to theft. When I imagined I'd be left without Noah, that he can be saved only this way, I first thought only that there's a chance for salvation, but what would be later? And that's no feat, that's love. And your mom loved you more than anything in the world, and you understand that, right, James?" "I understood long ago, just no chance to show indeed that I understood, until you turned up with your request. Believe whether it's right or not, but both my mom and you evoke such respect. Well, and envy, as I already said. I envy your husband. And I'm sure not only medications, no matter how expensive, will help him. He definitely feels there's you, and you're ready for anything for him. Well, okay. Shall we drink tea? Only go to the bathroom first. Wash up. Your eyes are all cried out. You'll see, everything will be fine with your husband." Olivia won't forget this Sunday. It contained so much, because she didn't believe people could help just like that, take and help. And Olivia will help too. Maybe she'll save someone's life, someone's faith that not everything is so dirty and bad. Olivia wants to tell Noah everything, or not yet. She doesn't know. Only let him recover and let everything be fine with the child. And here, Olivia says, "James, and I'm pregnant." "Does your husband know?" asks her boss. He knows. That's why he climbed to insulate the roof. And Olivia again tells that he fell from the ladder accidentally, though he climbed it 100 times, and cries again. "So," says James, "we'll do without tea. Now I'll take you home, and on the way stop at the hospital. For now, you cannot go to work. Well, you can call me any time. And of course, I poorly understand what pregnant women can and can't, only you won't wash floors at my place anymore, and there what you can, clean if not against." Olivia knows it's not only her merit, well, besides doctors, that Noah recovered. Here, the merit of James, too. He paid for everything. He talked to doctors more than once. If not for him, Olivia doesn't even know what would be with Noah, with her, with the child. James also made sure Olivia didn't miss the women's clinic and sent her on maternity leave. And the start of that leave coincided with Noah being transferred from ICU after the final operation, and he was on the mend. They discharged Noah a week before Olivia's birth, and he couldn't be stopped. He went to the maternity hospital too and was with her. Olivia knew Noah didn't leave, that he'd wait until she gives birth to the child, only didn't know how to give birth faster, but did everything the midwife and doctor told her, and first heard the child cry, then such lightness in the whole body, And here they told her it's a boy, because before birth they didn't want to know the gender. And now Olivia wanted to look at him. He must look like Noah. Only then she didn't understand anything, didn't see, but was sure the baby looks like Noah. And before falling asleep thought, let Noah find a name for the son. They didn't think ahead because of superstition. When Noah brought Olivia and the son from the maternity hospital, a surprise awaited them. The nursery was fully ready and furnished, with such modern, convenient furniture for the baby and mom. "This is a gift from your firm," said Noah, "and my gift is a bit delayed. Will you wait, Olivia?" But she didn't have to wait long. A van arrived and brought 2 little fir trees, still small but live. Olivia knew now she needs to choose a place to plant them. What a guy her Noah is. She once long ago, when they just started the foundation, said she'd like an alpine slide and a fir tree. It's hard to take root, but if it does, there'll be coniferous aroma, and on New Year, decorate such a live fir and celebrate right under it. And one more car came to them that evening. Olivia's boss, James, with gifts and dozens of congratulations recorded on his phone from the firm's employees. Olivia even cried, so happy and grateful, and first of all to James. And he suddenly said, "Guys, can I be godfather to this citizen, or is it taken?" And James became godfather to little Theodore, and would say that here he became a father, even if godfather, but for a start, it'll do.